Okay, well, it's about 9 o'clock, so let's go ahead and open this meeting. We are here to get post-renewal insurance review from Mr. Tracey Yost. So I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, David. Appreciate that. This is just kind of a quick meeting, a recap of the renewal, and in an effort to gain a little feedback from you guys. Honestly, things went relatively smooth, barring the increase. That's always the tough part. Enrollment seems to have gone well. Platform, the health fair, although limited in its participation, which is always kind of, I don't know how we overcome that challenge. But relatively speaking, it was a good event. So I was, at this point after the renewal, we just kind of like to get a little feedback from you guys and everybody really to see how you felt about the renewal, how it went. So I don't really have any off the chart discussion or information for you guys today, but I did bring some experience reports as well. But I thought I'd save that news for the end. But how did you guys feel about the renewal?
Well, I got hung up on the price part.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
But I don't know. The price of everything is going up. So other than us having to come up with more funds, I appreciated your willingness in that process to go back and forth and make sure we were comfortable with, that we had the best deal we could get.
You bet.
So,
Yeah, that I feel is my responsibility to keep the commissioners aware of what's happening in the marketplace and if there's other opportunities. So, yeah. Sometimes one wishes they had a silver bullet that would bring some relief. Unfortunately, and as we've talked about, nobody is immune to the increases this year. Moving into the fourth quarter, this is really our busiest time of year. That's when the majority of our mid-sized to large group business renews, and it's just not a good environment right now. It's pretty tough. So, but you just got to keep in the fight, and hopefully things will subside. We'll see what next year brings.
I agree with Commissioner Yost. It went really well. We really appreciate you reaching out and looking for other avenues that we could possibly do. And looking at it, this is a pretty fair deal for across the board of what others were getting, the percentage increase. So I think we did okay.
Yeah.
I really do. I really appreciate your hard work.
You bet. We appreciate the opportunity to work on behalf of the county for sure. Sometimes we wish we could bring a little bit better news,
But hey, that's the industry right now.
It is. And everybody's struggling with it for sure. So I did bring a recent snapshot of the experience information report, and I think I brought a copy for you too. So as you see, we're trending a little bit better. And I would say that's positive news. We're not running as high as we have been. So that's good news. We're trending in the right direction. However, I would caution everyone not to get too excited because we have a long way to go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've got several months of claims experience that will come into play prior to next year's renewal. So I will continue to monitor that, as well as any developments in the marketplace, to see if there's any opportunities. We're seeing one thing that has developed recently that has been kind of, lack of a better word, developing in the marketplace, is that United Healthcare seems to be moving into the North Idaho market more than what they have historically. So we are looking at that company to see how that would apply to businesses in North Idaho, what their network looks like, their contracts with the doctors, the reimbursements, things of those natures. You know, and when you hear United Healthcare, that's a common name. Everybody's familiar with that one. So it's like, oh, you know, that might be an opportunity. Sometimes it sounds better than what it really is. It depends on how they've negotiated their contracts locally with the hospitals and the provider community. So we'll see how that develops.
So remind me what a good loss ratio is.
Well, probably roughly around 85%. That's where, you know, we're right in that comfort zone for everybody involved. Yeah.
Yeah. A ways to go there.
Yeah.
So what makes a month like May do that? Is that just traditionally when everybody goes to see their doctor?
Not necessarily, I don't think. I think it was probably just the timing of some maybe some health challenges that somebody had faced at that particular point in time, surgeries that may have occurred at that time. So an accumulation of probably a few things. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wonder what made certain, I'm wondering if there's a pattern too. Like, do you see heavier times of the year traditionally, or is it completely random?
Well, I think that towards the final quarter of the year, especially when we see our groups that are on a calendar renewal date, a 1/1 renewal date, we'll see an uptick in activity. People are going in because
Deductibles.
exactly, or we have money in our flexible spending account, and depending on how that plan was set up, if it's adhered to the use it or lose it ruling under that, or the IRS allowed a couple of years ago to have a small rollover feature built into that flexible spending account plan. So that, yeah, but typically speaking, towards the end of the year, we see an uptick in the claims activity. And it's funny because I was just having a conversation, and this was on a dental provider yesterday, but it's applicable to the healthcare community as well. Is that the business offices, they fully understand. So if I go in and for whatever reason, and I may have to be scheduled for a procedure or whatever, they're pretty dialed into what I have already done on my benefit side, you know, where I'm at on my deductible, out of pocket, right? So they're strategically managing that on their end, that's for sure. So they're trying to maximize for their benefit at that facility, right, before the year end. So interesting to get an insight on that. I think generally speaking, most people kind of understand that, but yeah. I was just having a conversation on one of our larger groups on the dental plan, and how that the provider is actually reaching out, being proactive. David, I see you haven't been in for a little while. You know, you still have this amount in your benefits left to use up before the end of the year. So let's get you something scheduled.
And I noticed that now the billing, let's look at January. January is 133%, but that's probably December, right? That's probably everything billing from December hits in January. Everything is it? Are we a month? Kind of maybe a month.
You could
Forecast.
definitely consider that. You bet. In our industry, it's called IBNR, but incurred but not yet reported. So there's a lag in some of those claims coming in. So yes, yeah.
Because then you see February, it's down to 62, and so it's probably like, I think the deductible has a big thing here. No, it had, in my old insurance, had a lot to do with me too, whether
You bet.
I was going to have something done, and
Manage that.
I wait till the after the first of the year, if it was December or so.
Exactly. Yep. So, yeah, you're spot on. So.
Okay, well, you still continue to have the prettiest graphics and charts
Oh, yeah.
of all of our presenters.
Oh.
So you've got the best looking graphs.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I'd like to take a lot of credit for that, but I'm afraid I can't.
You can't take credit for that. No, it's easy to read.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. Well, what do we do to keep our costs down for next year? Anything we can do, or are we at the mercy of the market?
Well, that is an excellent question. And then, so how that rolls into how much involved does the county want to get in like a wellness program? You know, so if we're really data mining some of the claims activity within the group, that will allow us the ability to target, for lack of a better word, a pre-diabetic type situation, right? And that in turn should initiate a little bit of outreach to that individual to make sure that they're managing their diet and their health plan and stuff like that. But here's a little bit of the conundrum on that is that under HIPAA laws, we have to be very careful of how that information is utilized, right, and managed. And then the other side of that is the individual, at the end of the day, really needs to take on that responsibility. As an example of that, so we have a number of muscular dystrophy type situations in a few groups that we have. That triggers an internal reach out from the insurance company because they know the high cost of that particular health challenge, right? So they have a methodology where they'll reach out to that individual 4, 5, 6 times, and if that individual is not engaging with them to kind of coordinate on some sort of management practice to make sure that individual is doing what they need to do to stay within that healthier range and not move into that high claimant area, right?
Yeah.
So, and what we find, unfortunately, is that most folks are not willing to fully engage, and
Even for their own health.
yes. So implementing a robust wellness plan is always an opportunity, but that, to be honest with you, that we find in our experience that needs to be from the leadership down, right? The leadership has to be fully engaged in that and say, hey, look at what we're doing on our end as well to manage these costs and get in front of these maybe possible larger claims and stuff like that. So it takes a little bit to get it up and running and to maintain the efficiency of that wellness program to really see the benefits of that.
If we wanted to pursue it or look into it further, how would we do it?
Well, you would just say, Tracey, we want to take a look into this a little bit further. Get us some more information. And then I
I'd
will.
be interested in seeing.
Okay.
We've got to manage all of our costs, so and we need to take care of our people. So
You
I'd
bet.
be interested in seeing
Okay.
more information.
Okay.
I would too. Let's
Excellent.
I would agree.
see if it
Okay.
makes an impact on that history.
We can't sit by and just hope the market changes.
Right. And that was part of the strategy a little bit behind the wellness fairs, right? Is to kind of get people in to get tested so that we can have that early detection of possible upcoming claims. So so with that gives you a little bit of an idea on how a wellness plan would need to be managed. So the wellness fair now, and in fairness, not to throw too many fairness words out there, but it began to slip prior to COVID, the COVID lockdown, right? So it took a couple of years for it to cycle back around, and with the person that was internally managing that program in conjunction with us and Social Medical Center, as they stepped away from it, and we had to find somebody else internally here at the county that would assist in helping set that up and get that managed. And I think that might have contributed to the lack of participation this year. All right. So I just want to throw that out there as a correlation to a robust wellness plan is you really need to have internal champions, if you will, a leadership team that is really going to want to drive this program. Because if you don't, it will just, this is a highly technical term in the industry, it'll die a slow death. So, right, that makes sense. So you really need somebody championing that. And we can provide all the resources for that, as well as probably in conjunction with Blue Cross. They have a number of resources as well that can be implemented, but it really needs to be driven internally with the county. So And I wouldn't rely on just one person to do that. I think I would probably have some internal conversation and build a small team that might want to champion that.
Can we do it towards another part of the year? Because usually, the end of September and the end of that's where we're slammed.
You bet. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think we can do that. And part of that also, we've had some conversations in the past, is that by the time that wellness program, wellness fair rolls around, a lot of people have already kind of gone in and got blood work and stuff like that. Right. So,
Yes.
yeah. So I agree with you. I think early spring,
So-
early summer might be a better time to address that.
Or even winter, because a lot of people,
Oh.
they're here.
Well,
Right. Oh, there. Yeah.
I think they're more apt in the spring when they're looking forward to being healthy and the weather's getting nice and
Sure.
I think.
As I put on a couple
So
of
spring,
this one.
so spring in this county would be what, June, July?
I would agree. Spring would probably be, pretty good, because we don't start anything with
March
the
or
budget or anything until.
Exactly. So speaking of the budget, would that be in implementing a robust wellness program where we have incentives for employees to engage in the wellness program? Would the county budget allow for some financial incentive for that, like, $25 gift cards here and there, things of that nature, not over the top expensive wise, but, we need some incentive for the employees to engage, right? There has to be a reason why I'm going to do this.
We can probably discuss that.
Yeah.
What
It's a one-time cost, you can be able to take that from some of the grant for 1 year since we didn't budget for it. So that's part of what I need to know, is what kind of costs would we have to get a program going? How does it work? I don't know anything about it other than we probably need to do everything we can.
Right. Okay, I'll get to work on that and start gathering some information for you. And we'll revisit it here before too much longer. Probably, what do you guys think? Right after the first of the year? I mean, with Thanksgiving and Christmas coming up,
That work
Would
for
that-
you?
that'd
We
be okay
started
with you?
to deal with this in January.
Okay.
So,
And I know it's your busy time too.
I was hoping you didn't catch on that.
right after.
Cut right onto that. I have busy times too,
End
so.
of the year.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And then looking at moving the wellness or health fair to a different time of year, possibly early spring, early summer. Okay.
yeah.
Probably early spring, probably.
Yeah, because people get busy with summer. And as short as summer is, people focus a lot of their activity on it.
Yeah.
Be outside playing and the health fair.
So, can I kind of rock the boat a little bit here?
Yeah.
Just kind of a thought just occurred to me a little bit about how we might incentivize the employees. Okay, and this is my job. I have to kind of So we have $1,000 HRA, VIVA HRA that is implemented in the county, which is a great benefit. Always been personally, I think it's a good move for the county for retention, hiring purposes, etc. I wonder if we can, look at that amount that we're funding into the VIVA HRA and say, hey, okay, maybe we're not going to fund the full amount, but we're going to allocate a certain amount above our initial contribution to incentivize the employees to participate in the wellness program. So if I go and get my wellness checkup, I do my dental cleanings, I get a couple extra dollars, or not extra dollars, but dollars thrown into my VIVA HRA. So would be an incentive for the employees to engage in the wellness program. just one idea we might consider.
Yeah, some of those ideas might have to wait for a new budget, but, and of course, if you've read the news, we're a little tight.
Yes.
Like we had to fund Viva out of grant money this year. So, not grant money, what do we call
Is
it?
that LATCF?
LATC. But I
And we-
understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and we also had to reduce it a little bit. Families back to 1,000, and then individuals to 750.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was all we could do as a county just to cover that 9% increase in the cost of our insurance program.
Yes, yeah, it's just extremely challenging for a number of businesses right now. Yeah, and at a time where one of the challenges that businesses are facing are trying to attract and retain, good people. That is a tremendous challenge today, and we're seeing contribution models where historically they've been 100% for the employee and 0 on dependent. We're seeing that change, even with the increased costs that we're seeing on the health insurance plans. Employers just are simply, what can we do to try to keep these people from jumping ship or moving on to somebody for 50 cents an hour raise, something like that. It's there's other factors, but we don't have time for that. But
Well, in January, let's start looking at the whole thing, what it would take to put a strong wellness program together.
you bet.
And we'll have to think about what we can do for incentives.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice if people were incentivized by protecting their own health, but that's not always.
No.
People don't have time sometimes. So.
Yeah. So I will also look at, give you guys some ideas on what other companies are doing to create incentive. Okay.
What else you got for us?
That's it, I think. Pretty much in a nutshell. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to give us the update and work with us on some of these more creative ideas.
There you go. Well, you're welcome. Thank you guys. As always, appreciate the business, and always open to constructive criticism. Definitely, if we can do something better, please let us know. Okay.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Don't have any criticism for you today. So.
Oh, man. I know. So you guys got to be careful.
Yeah.
One time I said to one of my clients, it's, in looking to for some new business opportunities, right? Hey, if you know anybody that needs a good broker, could you please? And she goes, yeah, if we knew one. Like, man, I was
Got a recommendation?
I know. So I quit doing that. I would.
Okay, with that, we're